Okay, so here we go. Um, so remember, I want you to remember that I'm not a Bible thumper. Okay, I deal with words. Okay, the Bible is a book of words. Okay, um, and but the thing with the Bible is that it's a part of the culture, and it has a, if not, it has a heavy influence on people, and so this is why at times I pull out words from that book. Okay, I use, I'm an etymologist. I deal with words, so whatever, you know, the idea that I'm going to speak about, whatever. Sometimes it might be any book. It might be a word. It might be an idea. It might be a word. It might be something. Okay, but mind you, don't think that um, I'm speaking on this because I'm into the Bible and stuff like that. Because you'll be terribly wrong. You just be wrong. Okay. Um, so there's a biblical sentences here, right? This sentence or these phrases here. It says it was in John 8:44. It says, "Ye are of the devil, ye are of the devil." No, it says, "Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye shall do." He was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in the truth, because the truth is not in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Now, what do these words mean? And we should make sure that we are not going on people's opinions, people's connotations, right? We should know for ourselves what these words mean. It's very important. Okay? And because, emotions. If you just go on, oh well, that sounds right to me, you know, what are you saying? What are you saying? You're saying, hey, what I've been told or what I've been taught all my life, oh, it seems to agree with that. But have you questioned? Have you looked into all the things that you've been told all your life? And it's very important. This is very important because this, like I said, the Bible is a big influence on people. People go to their graves, with these things, ideas and concepts that they never, taught themselves or learned to be true or false. So, and by the way, I put that word in there, in the brackets, genetics, because I want to show you that this is taught, when it says ye are of your father the devil, the word of is referring to, of your father, like your father. This is talking about genetic behavioral traits. Okay? This is this this phrase right here, this statement here, is talking about genetic behavioral traits. You know, when you start talking about murder, murder is a behavioral thing, right? And when you start talking about people lying or whatever, right? Morality, right? These are, you know, so here it's saying that because see, you know, murder does not does not necessarily mean that it's not. I'm gonna say it like this: murder is not a trait that is handed down, right, from father to child. Okay, lying is not a trait that's handed down to father to child. Okay, but we're dealing with this statement here. This statement here is saying that it is. Okay, so we have to deal with that as it is here. Okay, so that's why I put that there, right? Because that's what it's saying. It's saying that you are of your father. What your father did, what your father does, you doing the same thing. Your traits got handed down to you. See? This should also make you think, right? You should ask questions here. Like, okay, well, maybe father means something else. You know, if murder is not a trait, a behavioral trait that is handed down to you from father to son, then maybe the word father here is referring to something else. Maybe this word father here is not a genetic term. It's not talking about your biological father here. See? And we have to think like that because of the way the words are laid out here. Because I ain't saying you. You are. You are of your father, the devil. But, and again, this is why I said we have to research. Because some of you might think the devil's real. Some of you might think the devil is an actual biological person that lives in the subway somewhere. So, but you have to research this thing because the word devil, right, is referring to a behavior. So here, the word devil, it's a noun, right? You see it's a noun, right? So remember, a noun, right? A noun is a word. Okay, it's a word that names people, places, things, and ideas. See? Remember, a noun it is not a person, it is not a place, it's not a thing. It's a name that names. Nouns give names. It gives names to people. It gives names to things, places, and ideas. That's very important. Again, see? So, now here's another thing too to remind I should tell you. Now you see what it says here that the word devil is a noun? Okay. There's a whole bunch of types of nouns. But you see here in this particular dictionary, by the way, all these here words, I got them from the dictionary. Okay? But see here in this dictionary, it doesn't tell you what type of noun it is. Is this a pronoun? You know, what type of noun is this? Is it a proper noun? See? So there are other dictionaries that you can get of this other reference books that you can get that will tell you right there, right, that hey, this word is what type of noun it is, or what type of grammar word, or what type of grammar or part of speech this word actually is. So remember that this, there's, because it's very important. Cause we don't know what type of noun this is based on this right here. Unless you see, if you're more experienced in reading these words, you know how to read them, then you can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But from here, this says now. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So you see where it says, and I highlighted in red, right? Here's the etymology. Here's the actual, original, and true meaning of this word, devil, and you shouldn't be changing it. You really can't change it, right? It means, see it says here, to slander, literally. The L-I-T, it means literally. See, to slander, literally. This is a phrase. I don't know what type of phrase it is. I gotta look it up. Okay, but to slander, right? 2 words, phrase. Okay, but it's it's not a person. It's an act. To slander is an act, right? To slander someone is an act. You're doing something to someone. Okay, so we know it's some type of verb, a verb phrase or something like that, right? Okay, so right there is telling us that this is not a person. Okay, this is not talking about a person. This is not a person. Okay, this is talking about what a person might do. This is talking about an act. The word devil is a idea. See, it's an idea. It's a concept. Because it's not a person. It's not a place. It's not a thing. See, slander is not a person. Slander is not a place. Slandering is not a thing. It's an idea. It's a concept. It's a way of thinking. It's doing something. See? So, what type of noun is the word devil? It's a idea. It's a concept. See? And you see here also, we don't have to go there. But yeah. And remember now, this is the etymology. This is the true meaning of the word devil. Right? To slander, literally. Okay? So all those other words. See right there? See? Definition 1. Now it's getting into theology. Wait a second. Can't go there. See, this is a connotation. They added something on there because slander has nothing to do with theology. Slander has nothing to do with the chief evil spirit, right? A supernatural being. It says supernatural. What? The chief evil? No, see, that's not, slander. This word devil means to slander. It's not a theology, it's not a God thing, right? It's not a chief, it's not about evil, right? But again, so all these words have to be studied. Evil. The word evil, it means to step outside, right? It means to step outside the normal nature of something, right? To step out, to go beyond, or to fall short of something. That's the, go look it up for yourself. Right? The word evil, it means to go outside or break the laws of nature, to do something that is not supposed to be done, based on the way it's always been done. See, to do something. If you know that you got diabetes, right? Are you supposed to be eating? The doctor might say, hey, you can have a piece of cake every now and again. But are you supposed to be having 2 pieces of cake? That's evil. See? So it's important to know these words because, if you didn't, what did they teach us? What the idea that most of us have in our brain when the word evil comes up, right? We think about ghosts and goblins and invisible things and spooks and scary movies and shit. Graveyards and but that's not what this word's talking about. This word evil, right, has always meant doing shit you ain't supposed to be doing. See? Yeah. Oh, now, here. Let's look at the word slander. Okay. Let's look at the true meaning of slander. Okay. So, like I said, remember, right? The connotation. The etymology, the true meaning of the word. Okay. And anything else under that has to agree with that. Okay. So, some information in definition 1, right, it agrees with what slander means. Okay, the stuff that I highlighted here in red. So slander, a false statement, right? Let me read the whole thing. A false statement or statements damaging to a third person's character or reputation. Okay. Yeah. So a devil now you could say devil, right, as when a person does something. Oh man, you a devil because you just slandered somebody. You're not saying this person has a tail and horns and he all red and he got a pitchfork and shit. He's down in the subway. You know. So that's what the devil is. The devil is anybody that slanders, right, for the purpose of, you know, damaging someone's, you know, character, someone's, you know, reputation, you know, slander. You want to destroy someone's, you know, career. You want, what do they call it today? The cancel culture. You want to cancel people, so you slander them. You say all crazy shit. Get people, look at you. What do they say? What do they call it? Oh, you anti-Semitic. You anti-Semitic. You know? See? Now I remind you now. A person might be anti-Semitic. Alright? But here we're talking about people that are not anti-Semitic. Okay? Here we're talking about people that do not deserve to be slandered. And these are, here we're talking about people that their characters are good, and they have previously good reputations. They have a history of doing good. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it's talking about people that are lying. See? When you start talking about, you know, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, because he's a liar, and he's of his father. So we're talking about people. We're talking about people that slander for the purpose of lying. These people are lying when they're slandering or trying to damage the reputation, to the character, right, of another person, right. They're doing it falsely. That's what it's saying here. Okay? Here it's talking about somebody who are slanderers, you know, and they're going after people, right, unjustly, whose character, right, has always been good, right? Their reputation, their history, they are known, they are well known to be of good quality, truthful people. See? But here it's saying that these particular people here, right, are going, right, out to harm people, knowing that those people are innocent. But their goal is to go harm them, because they're liars. They're murderers. See? And this topic here, that's what it's talking about. See? Yeah. So here you see on the other side, and this scripture kind of goes with this scripture, Revelation 3:9. It kind of goes with John 8:44. Okay. So here, Revelation chapter 3 verse 9 says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which." No. I'm going to show you how to read this. This is how you should read this. Which say they are Jews. They say they're Jews. And are not. Right? So it's saying that they're saying that they are Jews, right? They're saying this, okay? But they're here it's saying they're not, okay? But do lie. So automatically, when you say they say they are Jews, but and are not, that's already saying that they lie, that someone's lying. Because when you say, oh, it's saying, oh, they say they're Jews, and then it says, but they're not, they're not. So that's a lie right there. It's saying that. Here it's saying that they lie right there. But now it just backs it up, right? It just doubles down on it to say, hey, but they do lie. See, now you have to think about, okay, what are they lying about? Okay, I mean, they saying that they're Jews, but they're not. What are they then? What are they then? Okay, bear that in mind. What are they then? Okay. But do lie. Okay. Behold, I will make them to come worse than for you. So anyway, so I put here. Here's the connection first. Satan, right? It says the synagogue of Satan. Okay, Satan is connected to the word devil. Okay, it's connected. Okay. I'm going to make another video after this with the word Satan in there, breaking that down. Okay. Yeah. So what I did here, I put the word in J-E-U. Right. And I'm saying they are J-E-U, not J-E-W. See? Because they're not J-U-W. They're J-E-U. Right? Because if, what I got here. Yeah, so if you are, a wicked person, a devil, and this and that, and devil means to slander, right? To attempt to destroy someone's character, someone's career, and someone's personality. Okay, and it tells you this is mostly done through writing. See, this is speech, words and writing. So when they go out to slander, this is words, and they do it through writing. See, writing, and you should go look up the word diabolical. Oh, I know I have it, diabolical. Because we have to make it more clear what it means to, or the various ways of slander. Oh yeah, duh, okay. So you see, in the word devil, right, we see, the word diabolical, right? A diabolical. Okay, diabolical. Now check it out, right? Um, see, it says like showing, right, the cunningness, right? So diabolical is talking about, you know, um, plotting and planning, scheming, you know, maliciously. You're writing things. You're making videos. You're writing papers. You're going out and protesting and, against this person for the sole purpose of, destroying their reputation, destroying their character. Yeah. But originally, right? See, what's the difference between the letter U and the letter W? Well, W came years later into the alphabet. It was always, you know, did I put that in there? So, because, the word Jew, how old is it? What language is it from? Did you know that the word Jew, G-E-W, it only goes back to Greek? Did you know that it's not a Hebrew word? Neither is the word synagogue. Synagogue is also a Greek word. It goes back to Greek. It's not Hebrew. That's very important. I'm saying these two words are not even Hebrew. See, so before they used the word Jew and applied all these different connotations to it, that this behavior of this devilish, right, which means the slander, and I'm sure you can find a whole bunch of synonyms under how people are slandered, right? But it was always spelt with J-E-U. It was J-E-U because this describes or is talking about devilish behaviors. See? To slander someone, right? How do you do that? Well, you play on words. See? If you're slandering someone, right, which means you're lying on this person, right? How do you do that? You gotta play on words. You just gotta make shit up. You just gotta throw a whole bunch of stuff out there. Just make it seem like this person's bad. You tell half truths and this and that. Just throw stuff out there. A whole bunch of stuff. A lot of the time you can't back that stuff up, but you throw a whole bunch of stuff out there and you just hope it sticks, right? Because all you're trying to do, right, is to influence the minds of people so they begin to look at that person. You know what I'm saying? You start looking funny at that person. See? All you want to do is get or create doubt in people's mind. Maybe she is a bad person. Maybe. See? And this is what JEU people do. See? And mind you, this is not a particular people, because this is a behavior. Anyone, right, could behave as a JEU. See? And we know that. You know, any race or creed or color, whatever it is, right? They can behave this way. Anyone can play on words and literally, it says here, literally, the plural, what's the plural? The plural of JEU, right? See, is UX. See, and it means to literally, right, play on the intellect by clever, witty, twists of phrases and sayings and writings. They twist the words around, and they play with the words, to make it seem like this person is bad. There, play with words, They write pieces of writing. See, pieces of writing. See, they play with these words, and there's the word jeopardy. See, I used to think that was a damn game show on TV. I didn't know Jeopardy was like this bad. I'm like, whoa. So these people put good people in jeopardy. See? Jeopardy. These people who say they are JEW are really JEU. The people that put other people in jeopardy. See? See? They put people in danger. You can read it for yourself there. And one way that they do it, right? They divide. They love to divide people. See? They find ways to separate people. Oh, you a black American. Why are you down with Trump? You know what I'm saying? You're a black man. Why are you supporting white people? Oh, you're a black person. You know what I'm saying? Why are you supporting Republicans? Like, really? See? So that's what they do. They play on your intellect with these words, the word play. And this is a part of slander. Slander is, right, the means in which you make statements, you put these words together and what have you, right, for the sole purpose of damaging some person's character. Cancer, what they call it? Culture cancer. You're trying to cancel people. See? And all these words here connected. See? Juggle. Juggle, see? To perform skills, tricks of sleight of hand. See? Tricks. Tricksters. They tricking people. Tricking. See? And you should go and look up different synonyms. Because we know one, I hear people say this all the time. Because tricks, it also means to be hoodwinked. To be, made a fool, fooled, lied to, bamboozled, have the wool pulled over your eyes. You know what I'm saying? See? They put things in front of your eyes, put words, right? These made up words, these trickery things. Put it in front of your eyes. They tell you, oh, God said we have the right to this land and all these things. I say, oh, this is our homeland. Because they're playing on your intellect. They're gambling. See, the jeopardy. See, they're gambling that you don't study. You don't know the history about how these people got over there and how the state of Israel was established. They're gambling on the fact that they might not know that we only been over here for 75 years. So they're not going to, they're gambling, they're hoping that, hey, you don't know the history, you don't study, you don't know how, they actually are, East European people, Slavs, the Slavic people. I'm saying they're not going to tell you, that, they come out from Poland and what's that place? Ukraine. So you don't put that together like that. Oh, that's why Russia and Ukraine is going at it. Ooh. See, they're hoping that you don't know about, like the word slave, which is an English word, right? Coming from the Slavic word, right? Slavic, slave, Slav, see, slave, Slav, okay? Slaves are Slavs. They are Slavic people, okay? And now the connotation comes into play, because the connotation is, black people, slaves, right? But see, that idea comes from the Slavic people, right, being abused by Russians, Slavs, Ukrainians, right? Russian, right? Right. So the Russians and some Islamic, right, people were, the Slavic people were being abused. They were put in, forced to work and this and that. They were being abused. So that behavior that the Slavic people went through, the Slavs in English, slave, right, now was used to refer to any people, see, that were put under those same conditions. See? So, so that's the power in knowing it, and knowing connotations. See, slave just means Slav, because the Slavic people, okay, under that behavior that they went through. So anyone that suffered the same thing the Slavic people went through, right, is called slavery. So slave, right, a slave, right, the noun is a Slav, but the conditions that they were under with the Russians and some Islamic tribes, whatever, that's called slavery, and anybody, that can apply to anybody that suffers those conditions. Yeah. So they're hoping that you don't know these things, so they can say anything to you and play on your emotions. See? Oh, you just hate us. You anti-Semitic. You hate us. And yeah. And I'm like, wait a second. See, they're hoping that you don't go and research their behaviors. These Slavic people. Okay? These Slavic people with the behavior, right, that is called JEU. Right? These conditions right here. That's what they've been doing. So I'm like, wait a second. These people have been kicked out of damn near every country on the planet. And then a lot of them kept taking them back and had to kick them out again. And I'm like, wait a second. Can all these people be wrong? Spain, France, England, you name it. All of them. You mean to tell me that all these people has it out for them? I mean, you mean to tell me that you ain't do nothing? You haven't done nothing for these people to not like you? Germany, can't leave out Germany. Poland. So you ain't done nothing wrong. You haven't done nothing immoral. You haven't done none of this stuff, right? In Poland, in Germany. You ain't do nothing to the Germans to cause them to want to get rid of you. You ain't do nothing to the Polish people to want them to get rid of you. Spain and you had to do something. I can't. How? How is it that all these countries just kick you out? And then I'm like, if they were really, really bad like that, then why would they accept these people back again? Why would they try? I'm just putting it out there like that. I know the answer to this thing. I'm putting it out there like that. You know? Yeah. So, what else I want to share with you? I forgot. Yeah, but this is just a basic, simple study that I did. You know, open my dictionary up, right? I was looking at the word Jew. Say, wait a second. Why is this word spelled with a U and not a W? Then I started studying up on it. I said, oh. And then already knowing the history of the English alphabet, which is actually Latin alphabet, I already know the history behind the letter U and letter W. Everything was written years later. The W came into play. And you should look into the history on why, other than what they tell you, okay? You go do the research yourself. You should go look into why they started using W. Who started using the W? And how and why they began to use the W. See? Words. These people, what's enough? They call it the media. The media. Who? I mean, there are so many different branches of media, right, that these people own. These people. Not J-E-W, but J-E-U. Because this is the character of what you see here. This is the character of J-E-U. And be careful now. We say media. Oh, they own the media. Well, you can't own a media. Because the word media just means in the middle. The middleman. The middleman. You have to find another word, right, to describe what you're saying they own, right? Because we're talking about information. When Netflix, ABC, NBC, whatever, these are information outlets. See, these are mental influencing outlets. These are these are systems of communication. Telling, putting words out there, manipulating the mind, telling visions, twisting words and just going against the ways of nature with the intel. See the word intellect? Intel. In they're telling you they're going intel. See, television, they are telling you a vision. They are giving you their visions, right? Media is the middleman. They are standing between you and the true nature of things. Okay? That's what a middleman does. He intercepts, right, the truth or whatever, and he feeds you something else. In this case, see, it's like a batter in a baseball game. Got the pitcher, right? See, putting something out there, right? And he's trying to get it. His goal really is to get it to the catcher. Catch. Where the gotta catch it. Did you catch that? Did you catch? Did you get it? Catch means to get it. Catch means to comprehend it. Comprehend. Do you have a hand? Is it in your hand? Hand. Control. To handle. Did you get it? Can you handle it? Did you get the information? Right? And can you handle it? Can you manipulate? Can you control it? Can you comprehend it? You guys say, oh no, man. The media, the batter knocked it away. I didn't get it. Yeah. So you got the media, these organizations, they also pitch things. They throw shit out there. Let's throw some nonsense at this. Let's throw it out there. It doesn't matter what you throw out there, right? Always, by the time they catch on, we moved on to the next thing. Tell me anything. Just throw it out there. It don't matter, cause and that's what it means to slander. It's a scandal. Yeah. Before I didn't get into what the word synagogue means, right? So again, synagogue is not a Hebrew word, right? It's a Greek word, okay? And the word synagogue is referring to an organizations, corporations, businesses, it's an assembly, it's these people, these JEU people, right, coming together, right, for these reasons. See, that's a synagogue it's any, it just means, to bring together, to come together. It's an assembly. You and your boys, hey, we're gonna hang out Friday. Yeah, all of us are gonna hang out, and we're gonna go and do some stuff. See, synagogue. I'm saying, and see, to come together and to do things, come together, a assembly, and or to. So it's an organization. It means it means an organization, a corporation, a union, a business. See, but mind you, here we have the connotation, right? Connotation. Now they're going into some worship and religion and no, coming together, assembly, and it's not it does not necessarily mean that you got to get into some type of so-called religion and stuff like that. It's anybody can, you know, synagogue. This word synagogue does not belong to a particular people. See? And like I was telling you before, there are other reference books that break down the connotation. When did these connotations come into play, and for what reason? So you can go research. When did the word synagogue began to refer to Jewish whatever? And when you see that, that's power right there. Say, wait a second. What if you saw that the word synagogue just was you? It was just used. It began to be used to refer to Jewish people in 1950s. What if you saw that? Wow, 1950s. That's when it. So before 1950, it wasn't used that way. What? 1950 was. See. I was born in 1960. In 1960s. So I'm like, to me, I'm like, oh wow, 1950s. That wasn't that long ago. Because I'm from New York, Brooklyn. I watched them build the World Trade Center. See, I was there. So before when they dug the ground up, when nothing's there, it was pits. It was just dirt. And me and my grandma, we used to watch it. Because you didn't just walk by. We were, what was it, 1970s or something? They finished building in 1970s. I'm born in 62. So just, because people might think, oh, World Trade Center, dang, that thing's ancient. Oh, wait a minute. No. I saw it being built. They have a TV station, PIX. They call it PIX. I think it was Channel 11. So they took the two 11s and they always talk about the World Trade Center. They commercials. Oh, they utilize stuff like, oh, we could use our station, the Channel 11, to get more viewers by relating it to the two towers. That's when black and white television and and the TV used to go off at a certain time. There's and then it's go out. And everything's like black and white static. states was gone. It was just black and white static. You know? And you had to turn knobs. You had to turn knobs to turn the TV off or on. You know? Damn. How many? We only had a couple of stations. You know. Anyway, so yeah, so I just want to share this with you guys, you know, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So just remember what I was saying. See, to me, the most important part of this video here is what I said was in the beginning on how to use a dictionary, knowing what a definition is, knowing what a connotation is, you know, stuff like that. You know, knowing, you know, because you really have to know how to read these words. You have to really know how these meanings and stuff, when they were put into these, you know, into these definitions and stuff like that. It's very important. It's very powerful. And here's the thing too. It's easy. It's easy to do it. Alright, so let me go. Alright? So again, as always, this is our true history. Language and culture. Alright?